This is how I'm going to be watching this Friday's Dignitas versus 100 Thieves series for us to get a chance to play Cloud9 to go to Worlds. How's that for a backdrop? Welcome back to potentially the second to last episode of the Rendezvous, your series for everything 100 Thieves LCS. And boy, let's go for a walk and talk about last weekend. Look, I'm not going to waste a ton of your time talking about last week because, bluntly put, we got slapped by Team Liquid. Like, horrendously slapped. We were uncoordinated. Their players were simply better. Sniper had one of his worst best of 5 series that we've had in a very long period of time. And simply put, if we play like that again, we're not going to go to Worlds, and our entire season's done, and potentially 100 Thieves' tenure in the LCS is done. Quid actually had himself a pretty decent series and had moments where it looked like he might be able to carry the game. I mean, I think Game 2 is probably the perfect example of, like, he got a lead, he was ahead, we should be able to win that game. Most other teams, if you're playing, like, if we're playing anybody but Team Liquid, we should be able to close that out. But Team Liquid is just very decisive, able to put you on the back foot almost immediately. Even whenever you feel like you're in a advantage position, they're more experienced, they're better players, and it is what it is. So I don't want to drown on about what was going to be an understandable loss to Team Liquid. Did it have to be as bad as it was? No, and only time will tell, especially like on the Saturday match where we will see FlyQuest versus TL. If TL stomps them as well, then yeah, we shouldn't feel as bad, and hopefully, obviously, we can put Dignitas in the dirt, which will make us feel a little bit better. But coming off that loss, like, that is a demoralizing one. Dignitas is going to be coming off of a win against NRG and have a little bit more momentum than us coming into the series. So yeah, technically, advantage them if it wasn't for the fact that we already put the beat down on them once, and as long as we don't entirely mentally collapse, we should be fine. Look, I hate to get sappy emotional with this particular video, but I feel like now's the appropriate time to do it because everybody's gonna kind of be an emotional wreck if we do end up losing either to Dignitas or to Cloud9 this weekend and things are officially done. So I just want to say thank you for not only the support that you've shown me on my videos, that you've shown the LCS team and everybody in the 100 Thieves League of Legends program. Like, regardless of whether we're around next year or not, it's been an honor being with you all. This year has been a ton of fun to cover, both on my side. The players have been entertaining. Everything about this season was just fun, like fun through and through. We had our down periods. By all means, summer, like this particular split, given the highs of spring, felt a little bit worse than spring for sure, but it was still a blast for me. I know even on just my last video, I was critical on 100 Thieves and on Nadeshot, and people were like, oh, you're contributing to the roast of Nadeshot. I was like, fair. But it's because I love and care about this org and the players and the fans as well. Like, some of y'all are amazing to talk to after the games. The camaraderie, the sense of community, everything about this is great. And by all means, I wish that we could still hear 100 Thieves chants in the stadiums. We never really got that fully back whenever we were really good. And in 2022, we were like, all the hype was at EG, and then obviously we disappointed again come summer. That, like, I'll just always be appreciative of the time that we've all had together as a group and the journey that was, because the truth is this might be our last weekend, and if favorites win, then it probably will be. But damn, man, was it one hell of a ride. Jesus. For Around the Org news, there was that streamer event this past weekend. I've been busy the entire time with the golf tournament here in Myrtle Beach that, like, I obviously didn't have time to watch it and see how it went, but for the most part, reception on YouTube and social media seemed pretty positive overall. And I guess Nadeshot is officially going to Texas soon, so yeah, there's that. But let's talk about LCS. Let's talk about final weekend, because we have 2 series that we have to get through in order to make it to Worlds, and I don't want this season to end. First up, Dignitas. Yes, we 3-0'd them before, but they are going to have momentum this time around. When you look at how we won that last series, we were just simply better in every way, shape, or form. Our hands were better. We fought better as a team. Licorice was put in a body bag by Sniper. Our bot lane was consistently able to get ahead of Sven and forgetting his name. Isles, thank you. I'll start walking back now. Quid notably returned to MVP form, a form of which he did keep against Team Liquid despite the results. So I'll be honest with you, I have no reason to predict anything but a 3-0 for 100 Thieves this upcoming week. Like, there's no reason for me to say anything but, even if they do have momentum on Dignitas' side. Let's now look at Cloud9 though, because under the assumption that we are able to beat Dignitas, we immediately go into the C9 match on Sunday with little to no turnaround time. We're probably not going to be able to prep all that much for them. I hope coaching doesn't fall into the mistake of, like, only prepping for C9, which would allow Dignitas to have some pretty unique strategies going into us, allow them to draft better against us, and might be able to cause the upset. Focus on Dig, and then if we're good enough to beat C9, have a scouting report from Chimera ready for Friday night, and just put in the work. Like, it's going to be a long, very, very long 72 hours for the boys starting on Friday. That they're good. They got to be ready. Got to be ready to eat. Might be low sleep. You got to cram as much as you can in on those 3 days, but it's going to be a blast. I think, honestly, we scrimmed against FlyQuest over the past week because the comps that FlyQuest were using felt more similar to what we had, but we just didn't execute and they did. They looked distinctly better than C9 the entire series. It was nearly a 4-0. It probably should have been a 4-0, but somehow it wasn't. C9 was able to flip game 1 on its head. Or was it game 2? I don't remember. Sorry, I was watching it while I was on the plane. Or watching it while I was in a practice round here. But in terms of our strategy to beat them, I feel like it's once again going to come down to Sniper. If Sniper is able to handle Thanatos and not let him get the lane advantages that he was able to get against some of their earlier opponents and in the regular season, I think that we're fine because Berserker and Vulcan, while they team fight well, I think that Tomo does a pretty good job and is able to match him. And Berserker is not going to go strong enough to the point where you have to worry about him just absolutely dominating lane unless they flip a switch over the next week, which that case, nothing he could do. Quid and River are on a much better page together than... Jesus, I cannot speak while walking. Blabber and Jojo Pune are. For whatever reason, that combo, despite being the highest paid mid-jungle duo in the league, yeah, easily favors us right now. We are performing at a much higher level than those two are in our mid-jungle, but if we can keep up tempo, keep up pressure, make sure that Quid is getting advantages in lane as he's been consistently getting, even against APA, he was playing decently well in lane until everything else kind of collapsed around him. I think we'll be fine. Like, honest to God, I really do think we will be fine in this series and have a chance of causing the upset. Everybody's gonna sit here and claim that C9 is favored, but like, to me, the key to beating Cloud9 is just being decisive and being able to execute, obviously, on the plans that you make for yourself. But if you have a game plan going in and you stick to it, you just simply have better plans on the day, which, yeah, that's actually very general advice now that I think about it. Just plan better and play better. Like, but I mean, that's really all there is to League of Legends, right? Like, it's really not... You can get yourself out-drafted, but at the end of the day, if we're more aggressive, like we tend to be, based on our players, based on our comp, and how we just generally have been as a team, I don't see why you wouldn't potentially favor us. So, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go sit here and enjoy the beach for a little bit. I got 2 more days left of this golf tournament. I think my round today might have taken me out of contention. I think I'm still within the top 20, so maybe we can make a move on the hardest course in Myrtle Beach tomorrow. But we'll see. So that's it for me and the rendezvous. We'll check in again next week, and hopefully by this time next week, we're going to Worlds.